Oh God, here we are. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever the hell time it is. We are not awake, but we are here.
I
And
guess, are we though? Or are we somewhere else?
I don't know, but either way, you know what it is. This is the
Hmm.
future.
Unfortunately.
Bet your ass. Hope y'all are well out there. And that's enough of you. Let's talk about us. Okay.
Yeah, damn right.
What's up, stud?
Oh no, not much, man. Uh, it was your idea to record this early, so I don't know what the fuck you were thinking.
Well, you know what? We're professionals. Um, speaking of professionals, you were telling me that the place you work has a podcast now as well.
Oh yeah, they started a podcast, and it was funny because they're like, I saw their equipment, like they have like a bunch of equipment, and um, it's funny because they were like, posting stuff on the internet and all that stuff and like clips, and they're like, do you have any advice for us? How to get started? Because they're like, you've been done podcasts for years, and a lot of them, I was like, do you have any advice for me that how to do that? I don't know how to do it. So I know how to talk, but like doing, I don't know how to do it. We don't know how to do it. Like we don't know what we're doing still. And I never. And he just looked at me. He's like, "You want my advice?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Like,
How do you do this? He looked at me so weird. He was like, "Fuck?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I never have."
I'm the talent.
Yeah, man, I don't fucking. Uh, and
What's
like, because like the all other podcasts I was a part of, except for this one, had a producer. So he just did everything. I just showed up and sat my fat ass down and talked,
right?
you know.
You've
So
been
I had
spoiled,
like no,
right?
yeah, no, yeah, exactly. So it was just funny for him to he'd be like, "You have any advice?" I was like, "Well, do you have any advice for me?" He just looked at me like, "What the fuck?"
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a big question. It's like, well, wait a minute. You didn't have a podcast at all, and now you have one, and your first episode is available on all the streaming services. You have a professional setup. So, where'd you figure that out? Like, like I look at the internet and I'm like, do what now?
Yeah,
And everyone else is like, oh, I get it. I'll order all this crap and then I'll be a producer next week. And this is our 155th episode and like 10 people know about it.
yeah. Hey
They have
man,
one episode and 100 people know about it.
yeah, I don't know how many people are, but what I will say is, you should check out the Wedgehead podcast. A little plug for them.
Yeah.
It's a great bar, not mainly because I work there, and um, they do pinball right. Their machines are great. You should check out the podcast. The guy Alan, who is is one of the hosts. I think there's two hosts, but I think Alan really does a lot of. I mean, I don't know, but he knows a lot about pinball. And so if you're looking for a podcast that talks about pinball, you should listen to the Wedgehead podcast.
And I will say, as a patron to that place, that it's a really easy place to play pinball and drink. They have little tables right in between each damn pinball machine. So if you're worried about where your beer is going to go, it's right there. Seriously,
Yeah.
that's convenient. No shit. And it's pretty much all pinball, but I'm a nut for art, and these guys are just fucking weird. Like just like Alex, it's like, a restaurant that Alex would be a part of, so it's weird as shit. But a lot of great art, and they show fucked up movies to stoners when they're not expecting it, as you may have heard in previous episodes.
Yeah, what was that one movie that was on
Something
that?
about some cattle. Some
Oh, Black Sheep.
Yeah,
Um,
cattle,
not
whatever.
not the Chris Farley, David Spade Black Sheep,
Not
but this
that black
one,
sheep.
like
It's
it's
more
a
like
movie
whack
I
sheep.
had on, huh?
It's more like whack sheep.
Black Sheep, yeah.
Whack.
It's a movie I had on DVD that I let Wedgehead borrow and burn onto their what have you, and and they haven't. And then so they show it every once in a while. But I remember Tony came in to eat one night, and I was in the kitchen. I was looking through the kitchen window, and I could see Tony perfectly at the table he was at eating, and he was watching this movie. It's called Black Sheep, and it's about like zombie sheep basically, and like people get like, I think it's like set in like in the hills of Ireland, I think, or something like
Yeah,
that.
Scotland or
And
some
like
shit.
and like people get bit by these like fucking crazy zombie radioactive sheep, so they start turning into like a sheep monster, and they have like hooves for hands, like, oh, and they're trying to hide it and from the other people and stuff. And I'm looking at Tony, he's eating a sandwich and he's looking at the TV like, I called like the people that I work with. I'm like, check out that guy.
You
That guy
asshole.
eating like it's like food coming out of his mouth and he's watching it. You're like, it was perfect.
I was really stoned, man. It wasn't cool. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go play pinball now.
It wasn't cool.
I mean, the only reason I was still sitting there is because I didn't know where to hang my fucking backpack. I'm like, you guys got a coat room? Like, I don't want to leave my shit over here and go play over there. And I don't want to be the guy that wears a backpack while he's playing pinball. It just looks like your mom's about to come pick you up. I don't want to do that.
You got a coat room. We look like a place that has a coat.
Well, where I work, they have a fucking coat room and no one uses it, and they all hang their shit in the venue, and then people are tap dancing on it in the middle of the show, and they're like, "Have you seen my coat?" I'm like, "What?" And then that's it. That's as far as it goes. Fuck your coat. Check it at the goddamn box office. No, that I like that. The one thing I'll say about your establishment that it just doesn't get addressed enough is you got a creepy clown machine up front that goes off about every 30 seconds, and that just needs to be stopped. I think everyone agrees. Just turn it off. It's over.
Ziggy the clown. Yeah, I think it's kind of, I think it's like, I don't know for sure, but this is the way I take it, is I think most of the customers are creeped out by it, and the owners know that, and that's why they keep it.
I hope so. Yeah, no, in all seriousness, I believe that 110%. I do the same thing. You don't like it? We're getting two of them. How about that? Putting one in the bathroom.
Yeah, it's a good place to work, and it's a cool venue to go to. You guys should check it out, and check out their new podcast. I think they have a few episodes out, maybe 2, maybe 3, something like that.
Yeah, we're gonna go check out how they set up a podcast. We're just gonna go. We're gonna go to their production studio.
Hey, how do you guys do this?
I mean, can you just ask you, like, we just need to see the tech. Like, that's it. We just need the tech. Right. Push this button, save this here, edit that there. Got it. Thanks. Bye. Like,
yeah, it was funny because he asked me, he's like, do you do the editing? And I'm like, yeah.
Editing.
We say a word that we're not supposed to. And then it takes me 3 days to edit out a half a second of something.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would, in all honesty, as I said before, if I could sit down with someone like them who are doing it and just be like, we do this, and then we do this, and then we do that. Be like, got it. Okay. Got it.
You know what's cool, man? Is Alan, he watches this show. So hi.
Hey man. Well, if you didn't get the message, help us. We're committed, like mentally committed to 155 plus episodes here, but people are like, you have how many?
Yeah. We're like it's like, yeah, and I don't know, it's like we could do part of this decently, but it's like the physical part of how to, like, help us, help.
help, I need help.
So yeah, anyway, Tony, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm coming to the end of my month-long break from work, so I'm looking forward to going into work on Monday and quitting. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Right on, man.
That's about where I'm at with it, man. Be like, are you ready to go back to? No, I'm not going back there. Nope. I'm gonna tell people to answer the phone, like, I don't work here anymore.
So stop calling me.
Yeah, stop calling. We don't need you. Fuck off. No, it's been a nice break. Been just enjoying myself, I guess, more or less, staying busy, but
Mhm.
had some fun times. Um, yeah, I mean, Halloween happened. Did you have a good Halloween?
Halloween did happen. Um, yeah, let's see what happened on Halloween. Oh yeah, I worked. It was anything, I mean, it was cool. It was cool. Like I dressed up like a devil. I put like, well, I had a tail and horns. It was pretty cool. So I just told everyone I was a fat devil because I was. It was pretty. And um, but yeah, no, I mean, Halloween was cool. I didn't get to do the thing that I actually really like to do, and it's weird. Like, I don't know. I like to like stay home and pass out candy to like kids and families that come to the door. I don't know. I like it. Being
Okay,
like, hey, what the fuck are you supposed to be? Here's some candy. You
right.
know?
No, I've never done it. I've never been home. I've always been out trying to get candy.
Yeah.
That's where I was at this year. Just kidding. I didn't even see a piece of candy this year, as a matter of fact. Not one bucket, not nothing. I mean, I wasn't near candy at
Really?
all. I'm sure I was probably around a lot more cocaine than candy. I just didn't see it.
Hmm.
Working shows over Halloween.
Candy makes you dandy.
And liquor's quicker. I to quote Willy Wonka, but I have a quick weird story. I was last Saturday we had a costume, what do you call that? A Halloween party. It was an 80s themed dance party. So, and I was working inside the room, so that means I was in the show. And they were showing music video. It was pretty cool, honestly. Like it was 80s music videos played by a DJ. So basically they just put a 4-hour playlist on with videos and they were
Mhm.
all great. Everyone was dancing, just everyone was in costume. The whole fucking venue, the whole 2 floors, 3 floors were covered in people in costumes walking around, and it was pretty cool. A couple of
Right.
different rooms full of DJs playing different music, but we had the 80s dance shit going on. So a lot of cool costumes. The one I thought was cool because we have rules about bringing in fake weapons and everything, and like you're not allowed to wear a full mask, so I had to keep an eye on everybody, make sure they weren't breaking any of the rules. And at some point, a lamp showed up. A lamp, not just like, a desk lamp. I mean like a 6 foot off the floor lamp with a red bulb, which is cool. I was like, I was like, I don't know what the fuck that is, but I just see this lamp like through the night dancing around.
Like
What I
someone was.
found out was those people were moths.
Whoa.
And I was like, well, why didn't they burst into fire at the end? Like moths to a flame. Like that would have been the best at the end of the night, just poof.
Wait, so these people were dressed up like that?
They were dressed as moths,
Right.
but they had a lamp.
Oh, I thought like someone was dressed up like a lamp.
No, someone carried a lamp. I'm looking at a room of 1,000 people on their feet, and all of a sudden I see this lamp. That's all I
Yeah.
can see because I'm up above. So I just see this lamp. I'm like, what the fuck is a lamp doing? Later, everyone like, oh, they were moths. I'm like, I never saw a moth. I saw a lamp dancing through, which is pretty cool. It's like a shark. I'm gonna
Yeah.
illuminate your night. Doom 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 doom. But so I was enjoying that, and then all of a sudden I'm standing. You stand in the venue. You stand like kind of facing the crowd to the side, so the stage is there. So you're looking this way, out on the crowd. So there's steps that come up, and all of a sudden I look over to my left, and this woman's just standing there. Granted, it's loud. I can't hear anything. And she's pointing into the crowd, and I'm like, at first I'm like, what's wrong? What's the problem? And she keeps pointing, but she's not talking. So I'm like, what's the problem? And she keeps pointing. And I'm like, and this woman's at least 50. So I know she knows how to communicate. So
Hmm.
then finally I'm like, what is the problem? And she's pointing at this guy who's dressed like Teen Wolf. And she says, he's wearing blackface. Now, I didn't get to say this, okay, because seriously, I couldn't hear shit. So what I actually said to her, this is literally what I said. The same thing I'd said 4 times before. I said, "Is there a problem?" And she said again, "He's wearing black face." And again, I said, "Is there a problem?" And she and walked back down there and enjoyed the rest of her goddamn night. But here's what I'd like to say, what I really wanted to say with her if I had the time to take her out in the hallway and have a real conversation. This wasn't blackface. It was brown. Like, honestly, he was brown faced, and it wasn't even like that. What he was he put on some brown makeup, on his paws, and he put the fur on. The fur. He put the fur on everything, and he's wearing the Teen Wolf jacket. I mean, he ain't no Michael J. Fox. He doesn't have like that debilitating disease. He's not like that. So, but I
Yeah.
still knew who he was. I knew he was fucking Teen Wolf. That was a really dark joke. But in any case, it was old Michael J. Fox before the disease. But
Right.
in any case, he had the fur on. And it wasn't, no one else was offended. And furthermore, he was standing right with 2 actual black people who didn't give a fuck all night.
Right, but
Nobody cared. Nobody ever came up to me ever again and said, someone's doing something wrong. But it was just like, how old are you?
All right. First of all, let's just break it down. If let's say he was in blackface, and you're gonna be like, okay, what am I supposed to do about it? Like, okay,
right.
Do you want me? Like, am I gonna kick him out? Like, what is he doing wrong? I'm pretty sure if someone was in, and it was like noticeable, like they put black makeup on, red lips, and looked the whole thing, and like real shitty. Like, I'm pretty sure you would have to kick him out because he got beat up. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't think anyone would have to worry about it because I bet you people would just take care of it.
Well, and here's what you have to know. Up front, he had to go through security to get in the building. So, I mean, they looked at him, oh, it's Teen Wolf. So they let him in. And then he went and got his ticket and they let him in. And then he went up to get this stamp where they check the tickets. There's 3 different people you got to go by before I see you if I'm inside the venue. If I'm in the room, you've already seen 3 of my coworkers who all will be looking at your face. They all let you go. So clearly it's not a problem. Furthermore, if you chose Teen Wolf, bless your heart, you got to stick all that shit on you. And the whole night I saw him like doing this. I was like, that poor guy. If anything, you should go give him a hug. So, get the sweat off of his brow. But no, you're over here worried about saving the world with white people shit. I'm like, it really is. I'm just saying, white people are the most offended people I've met lately. Because if you go to a lot of people who are supposed to be the offendees or the offendees, they're not offended. There's been Instagram videos of people dressing up as an old school Mexican with the hat, with the thing, and all these white people like, that's wrong, that's offensive, you shouldn't do that. And they go up to a Mexican and they're like, looks good to me.
Yeah.
Like, so as I said when I got back here, not to bang on Portland, but some of the people in Portland to me remind me of tattletales. That's what it is to me. It's like, okay, I get it. You ran away from wherever you came from because you didn't like how they were doing business there. And now you're here and it doesn't get any more, I don't know how to put it, but if they don't give a shit here, then they don't give a shit anywhere about your problem. Because here they're more open to whatever's bothering you than anywhere else I've ever lived. They're like, I want to be called a toaster. You got it. They're like, not a problem here. Whatever you want, that's how it's going to be. So if they don't give a shit here, you're fucked. And it was like, man, I don't fucking care. Like, if I saw something, I would say something. You know what I mean? If I saw a costume, I'd be like, oh, why the fuck is that's he's got the hood on, he's got the white sheet. This can't happen. Like, that's a fucking problem.
Right.
But it wasn't that. It was just like, calm down. And the rest of here's the cherry on the top is at the end of the night. she happened to be leaving the dance floor, and she did one of these.
You?
Yeah, like, I'm watching you.
She said she did that to you?
Yeah,
Why would you do that to you?
I had no fucking idea. I literally did this, and she's looking at me. I was I was like, write down your number. That's when I was like, write down your number. Get fucked. That's the only problem here is like a lot of people in Portland are like, there's a lot of people from Philadelphia here. There are, just in general. I've noticed that it's everywhere. I'm like, is it because they both start with P? P for Portland, P for Philly? I don't know, but for some reason, there's a lot of it. But still, a lot of people aren't ready for that edge. Like I just have a fresh edge. I just got back from there, so it's just like I'm not going to take any of your shit. Like, sorry, like, oh well. People like, I'm offended. That sucks. Oh well, you want a lemonade? Like, I don't care. Life sucks everywhere. Stop bitching.
Oh man.
We ran out of problems in Portland, so we invented some. No, no, we didn't.
It's funny because it's like it's a thing that I first noticed the first couple of years I was here, especially doing comedy. People were really insane about things you can't say and can say and you shouldn't say, and all of a sudden you could say this yesterday, but today you can't say it now. But the people that I choose to surround myself with aren't like that,
I agree with you.
So I have totally seen that and know that it's still that is still a thing. But the people I surround myself with, it's not really like that so much. Like, and people are cool. They're not, no one's doing shit that you shouldn't be doing. So no one says anything. You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
yeah, I don't know. I just like how she was like, he's in blackface. Like, you're gonna go up to him and rub the makeup off his face or something. And it's like, can't you tell he's clearly Teen Wolf? Why are you trying to make this a thing? Like, like he's clearly a wolf with a jacket on.
Yeah. I mean, if you stick around, maybe he'll show you his basketball skills. Have you seen the movie?
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if they actually brought a basketball. Then she'd be like, oh, he's blackface on the basketball. Be like, yeah, he's got ups. Have you seen the movie? Like,
Yeah.
why don't you leave and go watch the film and then fuck off? How about that?
The only thing that her complaint and Michael J. Fox have in common is her complaint was a little shaky.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Sorry, Michael. It's what we do.
Yeah, like
I'm not. There's a little voice in my brain that's like, do the impression, but I won't do it. I won't do it. But I will say I have to make a plug real quick, okay? So on Halloween night, I told you I actually tried to get Alex. Alex had a couple of cool ideas for Halloween. None of them worked out. He had to go to his job, so he got fucked. He wanted to give out candy. Wanted to go to trick. We were gonna do haunted houses. I was trying to get him to go to this band called Frankie and the Witch Fingers. Now, Frankie and the Witch Fingers, probably for those of you who probably don't know what the fuck, it's music, cool fucking like psychedelic jam music, whatever. It was perfect for Halloween. But Alex and I were going to try and go. It didn't work out. But I did get to work the show, and I asked to be in the room so I could be there with the music. And we're in the meeting before the show, and there's 3 bands. And we always have a pre-show meeting, and they talk about what to expect, how long it's running, the type of music, the type of people we're going to be dealing with, anything we can expect in the room, all of that. So they were trying to figure out, like, we have a barricade up, but we don't always put people behind the barricade to catch people going over it. We just have it up. If it's not rowdy, most of the shows that we do are the word that they use is vibey. It's coming. I know all the young kids like, oh my God, I love vibey. Yeah, there it is, vibey. It made it. Congratulations.
And that's bussin'.
Yeah. It's bussin'. Did you say bussin'?
Yeah,
oh shit!
that's a thing.
I know.
That? Yeah, that's a.
No, I haven't. I mean,
that's almost dated. That's how
Bussin'
old
is, but dead ass is in full swing. Dead
that
ass
ass.
is out there. I don't know if it's been an East Coast thing, and dead ass is coming here,
Like
but
like
it's on the younger tongues.
like dad ass. Like
Dead, Deadass, but you have to say it all together. Like dead ass means like word, heard you for sure. Dead ass.
dead ass. Okay, because I thought you said dad ass. Like
No, I
dad ass.
know, but no, no,
Look
no.
at
My
dad
old boss,
ass.
my old boss, he was younger and he told me he's like dead ass. I'm like, stop saying it. He's like dead ass. I'm like, you're gonna be a dead ass if you don't knock it off. But in any case,
That's
um, yeah, so vibey. So anyway, I told them, I said, listen, I was like, I know this band, I've seen them. I recommend you put people on the barricade.
mhm.
So we started with no one on the barricade. So it was me and someone on the other side. And if anything happened, we'd have to dive the fuck where from where we jump the fuck down in there and grab whatever, take care of the problem. So right at the end of the first set, it's cool. The people are moving around a little bit, pushing a little bit. And then the lead singer just decides to go for it and just like, oh shit. He just whoop, just flies, mics, everything, guitar, everything, just wee into the crowd. And I'm like, damn it. So just my old ass, like my knees are popping and shit, trying to get down in there, get his ass out. So for the next two shows, by the time then the second show, my boss is like, maybe we better put someone down there. So we got somebody down there. By the third show for Frankie and the Witch Fingers, we usually have like two people behind the barricade. They had six. It was fucking great. And I mean, the lead. Here's what I liked about Frankie and the Witch Fingers, because it's Halloween. Each band came out in costume, but they came out. They played Mario music, like the original Mario music. They had up on the screen, and I was like, "Oh shit!" They're like, "Do do 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 do" for like 3 minutes. It's just Mario music. And then they all came out dressed as Mario characters, like Yoshi, fucking, Princess. There's four people in the band. So they played as Mario, and on their backdrop, it was old school like Mario the whole time. Like
Whoa,
that was the
cool.
thing, and they would just the hundred like it was like an hour and 20 minutes nonstop psychedelic rock. It was bitching. The crowd was a hot fucking mess. It was just everyone's sweating. Everyone's a hot fucking pile of shit. And at the end, like right as the show ended, because Flanders is like, "Are you going to see Frankie tonight?" Our friend Flanders, and I'm like, I gotta work. I'm working it. So right at the end, I'm looking at everyone like, oh, they're all sweaty and nasty, and here he comes. This fucking hobbit just walks up to me. He's like, dude. I'm like, oh, it's Flanders. He just hugs me. I'm like, oh god.
You're like gross.
But it was fucking great. I just have to say that I'm just plugging them. Frankie and the Witch Fingers, great live band, and they put on a hell of a Halloween set. Everyone there that performed that night pulled out the fucking stops. The first band was 40 Foot Fall, and they're from Portland, apparently. I've seen them twice this month. Bitchin', awesome rock band. Um, so anyway, if you like rock, there's some new names that are out there.
I think I'm yeah, 40 foot.
You should know. I mean, I've heard they're big around here.
I think I know one of the members.
Probably. I mean, you know a lot of fucking people.
I think he's a bartender at a place I like to go have a drink. Huh.
Well, then we ask him if you see him, I'd go to another show of theirs.
Yeah.
They have a song called Nick Cage. It's pretty. I mean, they have a lot of good songs. But in any case, that was a bitchin' fucking night. So long story short, Frankie and the Witch Fingers, awesome music, fun fucking time. So my Halloween worked out. Did you have anything like? Did you do anything at work? Did anything crazy happen?
No, it was just
Nothing.
no, it was just work.
I mean, did people? You guys have a Halloween party?
There was a pinball tournament and people dressed up. There's a bunch of
Right on.
people,
Cool.
like people that I know because they're regulars and I see them. And probably the best costume was this couple who I see like 2 or 3 times a week because they go there often. They're really cool people. They're really nice. They dressed up as Jay and Silent Bob.
Nice.
The guy Terry. He was Silent Bob, and he kept on talking. I'm like, shut up! What the
Right.
fuck you doing? Zip
You're
it!
only allowed to speak once, and it has to be some elemental shit. Like that's Silent Bob.
And he's like, oh yeah, yeah. I'm like, like across the room. I was like,
You can't talk. Shut the fuck
his lady was Jay, and that was a good costume. I like that. But yeah, other
Nice.
I mean, I'm just being honest. Like, not a lot. I mean, it was Halloween. I was at work, like. But since we're talking about work, yesterday, I had to go into work early because that's my fucking job when there's problems, I guess. Is I had to go into work because the bread delivery guy couldn't get in because they're smart and they don't know how to use a key. So I had to go there, and the bread guy was just like old dude, white head of hair. I don't know how old, 150 years old. And I don't know, people that are like in their 60s at least, I feel like they always bring up shit that it's like, man, no one wants to talk about that. He all of a sudden just goes, so the war in Israel. I'm like, yeah. Why in the fuck are we talking about this? So I came up with a catchphrase because a couple other people have tried to talk to me about it, and not just like talk to me, because there's a way to talk about it that is, it'd be like, why is everyone talking about that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but like he's like, yeah, trying to talk to me about it, and I just go, whatever side someone is on, if they have a stance, I have a catchphrase that I use, and I just go, get them. That's it. Get them. If someone's
Oh my
on
God.
whatever side, I'm like, get them. And then I just kind of walk away because I don't want to talk about it. I don't got a dog in the fight. It's a war that's been going on longer than I've been alive. I don't agree with the war. It sucks. Every war sucks. I don't want to fucking talk about it. I don't want to be here. It's too early for me to be here. Give me the bread. Leave me alone. Like, I just go, get them. And that usually makes the conversation die. And that's good. So, and if anyone wants to use that, go free. I mean, I don't know if you're want it, but
One of the phrase that I use, I'll use, it depends. I'm a moody guy, but if I'm in that mood, I'll just say, it'll be like, did you hear about the war in Israel? I'll be like, no, I don't watch television.
yeah.
And they'll be like, oh. And once in a while, I'll be like, they'll be, well, let me tell you what's happening. I'll be like, no, 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 no. That's the reason I don't watch television. Like, oh, I'm like, yeah, we're not. I've said this. I'm like, yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
They'll be like, yeah, sorry, it's fucking stupid. I'm sorry. Like, if you have a solution to a problem, then it's worth discussing. But you don't, because you deliver buns. And I don't have one either because I'm accepting those buns. Neither one of us knows fuck all about war.
Yeah.
So thanks for the buns.
Thanks for the buttons. I know I was just like,
What the fuck?
I'm gonna talk. I mean, he did say something I agree with. He goes, religion fucks everything up. And I go, I mean, that's true, but I
Yeah,
still don't want to fucking talk about it.
no,
Like, I'm like, I'm like 4 hours early for my shift. I was fucking, you called me saying that you couldn't get into the building.
and you want to talk about Israel?
I was taking a poop, minding my own business, watching YouTube videos, I was on the can literally, and he's like, I can't get it. I don't know how to use a key. Israel, and then he hung up.
Israel.
I'm like, fuck, I gotta go there.
That sucks. You're not even getting paid. You're in the middle of taking a shit. You got to go
Yeah,
talk about
I'm over here
Israel.
doing normal people things, like just like I'm just taking a dump. I'm an idiot. All of a sudden, someone's like, Israel, bread, keys. I don't know how to work to be a person, and then
The only thing that I wanted to know about the situation was like it was pretty evident to see what side we're on, as we're Americans, and you have to understand that as we live on this earth, that everyone who isn't an American is going to look at us and say, Americans, all of you believe in this. So we as Americans need to understand something. Everyone on the outside of America looks at us as a fucking unit and says they did this. So our individual opinions mean nothing. Honestly. So, I mean, they do matter, don't get me wrong, but go start a garden. Go make love to your woman. Go take your dog for a walk. Any of those things are more fucking important to your daily life than shit that you have no control over whatsoever. Just being real. It does matter, but the next day what happened? Oh, America gave money to Israel. America gave money to fucking to Ukraine. So now we know as Americans where we stand. And not that I stand there, not that you stand there, or anyone else, but as Americans, they've already decided for us. So if we leave this country, people are going to be like, oh, look at America, they're supporting Israel. Just because you're an American. So remember that, even though it's between you and your bread man or the mailman or whatever, as Americans as a whole, we're all one big pile of assholes. And as far as everyone else is concerned, we support Israel and we support Ukraine. If you don't like that, just go the fuck back to work anyway, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Between you and the fucking bread guy, doesn't matter either. You're not going to solve this shit. Sure, if you don't like your job, yeah, fucking talk about Legos instead of Ukraine. Whatever, I don't care, Israel. Talk about something more interesting if you want to burn time. But don't waste your fucking life worrying about shit you can't fix. That's coming from somebody currently in therapy. Okay?
Yeah. I mean, that's why I have the catchphrase.
It's a great get them. It's a great.
I'm like,
it's done.
No matter if someone's pro Israel or Palestine or whatever, just Russia, Ukraine, get them, whoever it is. And I think I got that catchphrase from a friend's dad. I have these two brothers that I know. That their dad had a catchphrase, or he would say, like, if someone was watching sports or something, and he just walked in the room, he'd be like, "Who's winning?" You know,
right?
And I think that's like that's where it came from. I think secretly is get him, who's winning? You know.
Right. People always say to me, like, "What do you?" When people say shit like that to me, I always like to say, like, "What do you think about us paying for the war in Israel?" I'm like, "Our tax dollars at work."
Yeah.
They're like,
"Dollars at work."
Our tax dollars at work. I always take some slogan that I've seen on a construction sign and I apply that to American philosophy. You know, people be like, "Oh man, things ain't looking good in the future." Be like, "Oh, road work ahead."
Road work ahead.
That's right. Like, what do you think about all these people moving in from Africa? Lanes merge. You know.
Yeah. Fines may double.
That's right.
I don't even know how that works to anything. It's just
that works. That does work. Fines may double.
But what that means, really, I just said
it. I'm gonna do more of that to people. Be like, "Oh man, this place sucks. I gotta get out of here." I'm like, fines may double. Like, what?
This sucks. Deer.
Right. Deer, 500 feet.
Choo-choo train.
Right.
There's cattle.
What's that one with for the motorcycle and the divots in the bridge?
Yeah.
Listen, if you're watching the news and it's affecting you personally, turn off the fucking news. Because if you could fix the problem, you would. You can't. Don't let it take up your fucking time. You don't know how much you have left. That's all I have to say about that. Now, I did want to say I had something I wanted to share because it's going back to the Halloween thing, but I just have to say this real quick. And if I already mentioned it, then my bad. But the best costume that I saw this year was Cocaine Bear. And I've seen a couple of Cocaine Bears, but the one I saw was at another concert we put on for another band. But anyway, they had a costume contest, and they went around and they picked 10 people, and between sets they put them all on stage. And the one girl was dressed in a black Care Bear costume, and she had a brick in tape, like it looked like it came off a boat of cocaine. It looked like cocaine. And the first thing is you have to get through security to get up into the venue. So I'm like, well, I guess they just smelled that and let it kept coming on through. Like, but in any case, she's on stage, right? And they're like calling out the different people, and they're like, okay, do you think this person should stay or that person should stay? And every time they said Cocaine Bear, the woman who's playing Cocaine Bear just like tore open the brick of coke, and every time they said Cocaine Bear on the stage, she's doing this. It's just like this fucking coke going everywhere. And she made it until like the final three. So by the end, she's just like shaking this shit, and like really excited, like give it up for Cocaine Bear. And she's like, like swinging at a pinata. I'm just by the end, there's just this pile of shit on the stage. And I said to myself, I was like, well, guess I know what I'm cleaning up at 2 a.m. And at 1:45, before I left for the morning, the night, whatever, they were like, hey, Tony, would you mind mopping up the stage? I'm like, that fucking bear, god damn it.
That fucking bear.
I didn't get to sniff any of it, but I got to clean it all up. It was fucking great. So Cocaine Bear, you were the best costume I saw, except Teen Wolf, you had to be runner up because way to stick with it, you know?
Right. Yeah.
That being said, we did come up with an unfortunate topic. I want to say this: if I didn't work at this venue, this show would be shit because I would have nothing to talk about. Because I'm getting out more for my second job. Anyway, this story comes to us. Alex and I, as you know, we have a podcast. There are a million fucking podcasts out there. But just like everything else in the world, a couple of people get really lucky and get to make their little hobby their career for however long that lasts. I say that to say that I saw my first live podcast. For all of you, just to catch up, that means you can actually, like, one day when when we're famous, you all will be able to come pay money to see us perform this on a stage. Sounds fun, don't it? So in any case, I was in the room for this one. I got to see this. So what this is, what I got to see was called Not Another D&D Podcast. Of course, for those of you who don't know what the fuck D&D is, that is Dungeons and Dragons, the infamous board game that people played. And if you've seen Stranger Things, that's the game that they were playing in Stranger Things. Caught up? Good. Okay, so this is called Not Another D&D Podcast, and this was specifically what they're touring right now is called Dungeon Court. So what that means is that 4 people that run the podcast that the podcast consists of come out on stage, sit down, and before the show had started, all the fans had sent in their issues, their problems they've run into with their team in playing Dungeons and Dragons, these interesting scenarios. So they emailed them to these people, they review them, and then they come out dressed like court people, like in the court costume with the gavels and shit. And one person reads the issue, and then they all decide what the punishment should be. Was it a crime? Was it not a crime? Whatever. And the one thing I just need to add to all of this is nerds. A shitload of nerds. That's what this is. There's nothing wrong with those people. There was people that look just like me in there, totally know the Dungeons and Dragons world. I'm stoked for them. The reason I'm setting all this up is so that you understand that what these people paid to see was essentially what we're doing. But the reason that it's an unfortunate topic is because when I don't usually know what people pay for these things. I don't have any idea. But someone left a ticket stub in the bathroom. And old Tony G likes to pick shit up off the floor. So I found one. And of course, the first thing I wanted to know was how much it cost. What? There's no name on it or anything.
Huh? I'm looking at the price. I'm laughing.
Okay. So if you saw the price right on, what's that show? $99.95. The Price is Right. I would like everyone to guess. I'm going to give you like a couple of seconds because I'm not going to be able to fucking hear you anyway. If you didn't see the price, do you think the ticket for row 3, that's 3 rows from front, right in the middle, good seat, not front row, though, would it be, we won't even fuck with the fees yet. The cost of the ticket, if you didn't see it, is it over or under $100? 2, 3, 4, 5. The answer is it's $125. The fees, of course, if you've bought a ticket for anything, you know the fees are at least 20%. So with fees, the ticket was $150.53. $150.53. That's fucking crazy. That's for one person. That venue holds 800 people seated. And it was sold the fuck out. And the crazy thing is that the merch line, there wasn't one person who was not in it.
Whoa.
So that means that the average person, and some people came from British Columbia, like it was crazy. So the average person threw down, because most people have friends, so they came with doubles. Most people threw down anywhere from 500 to a K just for an hour and a half long podcast. See, he's getting bored. He's not even in the podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? $150. And you all are watching this shit for free. So that's why it's unfortunate. The show consisted of them telling stories, and it was funny. They got laughs like every half minute to a minute, but because people love this shit, they could the people who run the show could have taken a poo, thrown it at each other, and people would have bought the next round of tickets for the next show. They could do no wrong there. Let me give you an example. This guy, they had a giveaway gift. And it was really funny. The guy's like, you know what? This girl with this story, because she was so done so wrong in the dungeon court, whatever the fuck, the story was so crazy. We're gonna give her a gift. Cool, awesome. And he's like looking around. The guy's like, "Where's the gift? I can't find the gift. The gift. The gift. The gift." He was sitting on the gift. It was a rolled poster, right? It was a tour poster that they were signing for people who had paid extra money for the VIP package. So they were signing the tour poster and they fucked one up. So the guy's like, that'll be the free gift. He said all this. I'm not making it. He literally all verbatim said this. This is the story to the free gift. It's a tour poster that was rolled up. They had all signed it, and he fucked up. So he made a little boo boo and said, I signed it, and made a little funny face on there. But here's the funny thing about it. They were going to give her this poster, be like, here's the contingency gift. You got the unique poster. But he sat on it. So he pulled it out of his ass, and it's like flat in the middle and then coned on the end, like that. It's like, whoop. Yeah. And here's the best part. I'm thinking, okay, he's going to get another poster. Like, of course, right? No, he sells it to her. He's like, this is it. This is better than it was before because now it's creased. It looks like shit. It's got horrible signatures on it. It's a one-of-a-kind fuck up. And you up there, you get it. I'm like, this guy should take my sales job when this podcast doesn't get any more fucking $150 tickets coming in. Like, because it doesn't last forever. Like, you're in sales, asshole. You just sold this girl on a piece of shit poster. But here's the best part for me, personally, my own personal experience. The guy is trying to get the poster to the second level. He ain't no athlete. So he's trying to get this paper poster up. Trying. It keeps falling down. I'm on the first level. So he's like 10 feet away from me, trying to throw this poster up like this. And he keeps missing and missing, and everyone's laughing because they couldn't do it either. No one's has any athletic ability in the room. So, of course, it's not working out. But he's wearing a bracelet. And all of a sudden, he throws it up there. I didn't even notice. And I get shot right here, right under my eye. I mean, no one else is experiencing that but me. But I almost lost my fucking eye to the letter E. This guy had some kid's bracelet on his hand with something spelled on it, and he threw it, and it broke, and it shot off his wrist, and the letter E hit me in right there. I mean, that fucking kid, I was like, holy shit, like, I almost lost my fucking eye at a Dungeons and Dragons podcast. Nothing crazy happens at these things. I'm about to go blind. I'm gonna get an eye patch, and it's gonna say D&D on it, because that's what happened. And so I know it was the letter E, because later I was like, E! It's like Sesame Street, it's the letter E. It's got E in the fucking I. E for I. That's crazy. But yeah, that's so they're making at least 150, maybe even more for front row.
Right.
They flew in. They had nothing. They had a laptop. They flew in with a laptop, showed up in a fucking Uber, mailed the merch in. So they had nothing, no overhead whatsoever. We provided the tables. We provided the tablecloths. They provided the stupid clothes. And that was it. They did an hour and a half and they were gone. But here's the funny thing. The thing about being famous, about charging a lot of money for a podcast, their fans are over the top. So at the end of the show, the manager's like, listen, they're going to want to try and find these guys after the show. I'm like, to do what? Play D&D? Like, who gives a fuck? You just watched them for an hour and a half. No, these people were like, so where are they meeting up afterwards? I was like, who? They're like, the cast. I was like, I don't know. And they're like, nowhere. They're like, well, no, we're gonna find them. I'm like, do you want me to call the police? Like, you're not supposed to fucking do that. Like, long story short, these people are like, after every show, like 100 fans won't take no for an answer, and they wait for them. And I don't know how, but there's seriously there's at least four exits from our building because it's an old school. So there's at least four ways to get out of that building, and some fucking how 100 people knew what exit they were coming out of, and they had two of our security people and them, and I went out the other way. It was time for me to go home, and I was like, but I got to see this. So I went around and I just walked behind all of them, like through the dog park, and they ain't going nowhere. Those four people who charged like up to $200 a seat, whatever the fuck they're doing, it was just like, you're fucked. You don't get to leave early. You have to work overtime, assholes. How do you like that? Because they're not getting paid for this. You're not getting paid for this part. You're trying to get to your car, and they're not letting you. So now they're getting their money back. You know what I mean? This is overtime. You're not getting paid for this. You already got paid. Now you're standing there freezing cold. It's raining on you, and you're having to answer nerd questions. And we all know that by the time you've become famous for making a D&D podcast, you're probably sick and fucking tired of D&D. So they're probably waiting there at 1 a.m. like, oh yeah, really? I've seen so many artists fake interest to their fans at 1 o'clock in the morning that it's hilarious. I just like to tell you, if you bring your favorite D&D podcast, your favorite artist, a stuffed animal or a trinket or some fucking bread basket you made, they're not going to use it. It's probably going to go in the trash. How do I know? Because I'm usually the one who takes out the trash. So enjoy the shit. Definitely bother them after the show. Get your money's worth. I like that. And come to our shit. That's what we're talking about. 150. I'll take 5 ahead. What the fuck? $5. We'll do it live. Like, we can live on that.
It's just so funny. I feel like I can't say anything about nerdom, about nerd stuff,
But I do. If any of you feel offended, I'm not sorry, but I'm a music nerd. He's a toy nerd and a music nerd. Like, it's cool to be a nerd, but I just don't think nerds should have to pay that much for a podcast. Like, that's fucking crazy.
I mean, clearly people will do it though. People will do it. People think that it's, whatever. That's fine. I mean,
no, it's great. It's, in all honesty, it's great that you have something you're into, and it's cool. There's a podcast about Dungeons and Dragons, and it's cool that you're into that. Honestly, don't give a shit. I'm not here to make fun of people for finding something that gets them through life. But when I saw the price, I was like, yo, we have a podcast, 150 fucking episodes and plus, and we got nothing. And they're just talking about a game. Like, we could just talk about toys and probably do all right. I don't know. We need to figure this out. They brought their whole basket of toys. It was amazing. If we did a show, we would have to bring toys. We'd have to,
Oh, absolutely. Toys. Oh, all of them.
See,
all of them.
See, if you book us for a live show, we will bring all of Alex's toys.
Mm-hmm. All of them.
They didn't do that at D&D. They didn't bring any toys. So how about that?
Touch. And that no one could touch any of them. You just have to look at them.
That's right.
These toys aren't for playing with, okay?
We'll need a crew to load the toys and shit. Like, wait a minute, this podcast has a crew? Like, yeah, they have a full crew. Bringing in all the toys.
One by one.
And you're the one who sets them up, like no one else is allowed to do it.
Don't even look at them.
They all come with blankets and shit on them. So yeah, unfortunately, some people are doing this for a living and killing it. So good for them. It's unfortunate for us.
Yeah, I think that's really what it should be.
It's not always unfortunate for everybody. Sometimes it's just for us.
Yeah.
But it's fucking great. Anyway, you got anything before we finish up?
No, I think we should about time to talk about music.
It is time to talk about music. So we have to spin the wheel. We have one artist left,
Well, we have to talk about the music we, you know.
Oh, I'm a fucking idiot. Thank you, Alex.
Oh, we have to review the band. I mean.
See, some shows can't go on without the other person. This is that show.
Oh man, I could have got out of here early.
I know, Alex. I thought he's like, I'm like, okay, fuck it, music, let's go by.
Like, you're like, well, we got to spin the wheel. Like, hurry up and get the wheel. I'm like, well, we got to hurry up and talk about.
My bad, my bad. So when we spun the wheel last week, we landed on Aretha Franklin and her live album, Amazing Grace. And
Yes.
I did not realize just how long that album is.
That's pretty long, man. It's a long
long. So if you did listen to all of that, awesome for you, seriously. The album is a live album that she recorded in California with as a California choir. You may have heard in the album. But this was one of those albums where she wanted to get back to her roots, if you will. And I describe it as like like almost a gospel jam record. That's how I put it. I don't listen to a lot of gospel. That's the only gospel that I own on vinyl. But I just think there's a few songs in there that hit you in the heart or hit me in the chest, if you will. I just think it's cool. I think if you like Aretha Franklin, if you like soul, you like that kind of stuff, to hear her raw talent with backup vocals and a piano, not a whole lot of other musical instruments, just really her belting it the fuck out. There's no better album that I know of to hear that. So what'd you think of it?
I thought it was awesome. I think she rules, and it was very long. It's an hour and 29 minutes. But yeah, I think she had such a fucking awesome voice, and it could just like. And I was looking up some more about her like this morning, like, you know, she was born in 1942, died in 2018. But the years that she was active was like basically, I forget like from 1954 to a year before she died.
Yeah, she
like
performed for the president and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, she was performing and singing at the age of 12, basically, right?
Yep.
And until she was like 75, or she died when she was like 77 or 76. So yeah, like that, it's just a lifetime of performing and singing.
Yep.
And it's like I didn't think that, you know, old songs like Amazing Grace and stuff like that I would like it so much, you know, like, you know, like they're like church songs and they're fucking, I don't know, she sounds so good. And I think, yeah, I really liked, I like listening to it. It was a really good break for me for, you know, all the devil music I listen to, all the metal.
Right, to get some Jesus in your heart.
I was like, I need some Jesus. Give me some Jesus.
But doesn't it kind of make you like want to like just start clapping your hands? You're just like, I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
like if I was in one of those pews, I'd be like, just dun, 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 dun. You can't, how could you fucking not? Like, in all honesty, like just want to move to that. The energy in the room must have been amazing.
Yeah.
But I do want to point something out. There's a song, it's called Old Landmark. And
Yeah.
if you'd have to have a fine-tuned ear and know the Blues Brothers movie, but if you've seen the Blues Brothers movie, that's the song, that's the recorded version, I believe, that they use in the Blues Brothers, except it's James Brown who's like singing in the movie. He's singing it, and it's all backed up with choir singers. But when you're listening to it, that song in the movie, people doing backflips and shit. Like, oh, so every time I hear that song, I just picture like people doing 30-foot backflips in a church in church clothes. And I'm just like, I was like listening to it in my car. I'm like, yeah, backflips. Like, this is great. I love it. To pick out a song, you're like, wait a minute, that song's in this movie. And then it puts the hook in you. So the Old Landmark is probably my favorite track on there, just because I just see people doing backflips. Yes, people dancing through the church, just like, yeah. But you can't listen to the song like that. Like the whole album is like highs and lows. Some of them are more like more rambunctious than others, more energy. But I couldn't listen to a song like that and not feel empowered, not get a bit of energy going. It's
Mhm.
just like, how could you listen to all those people singing? Oh, like you're like, oh shit, I gotta move. Like there's a wave of sound coming. Like, whoa,
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
I feel the spirit.
Yeah.
It's in me.
Well, that's what happens in the Blues Brothers. He's like, have you seen the light? To this
Yeah.
song, and he's like, I see the light. And he starts losing his shit. Then Belushi starts doing flips.
Yeah. And
So
cartwheels
yeah.
and stuff like.
Yeah, this is the song they do all the crazy shit to. So Old Landmark is on this album, and it is in the Blues Brothers. So fun fact for you all. But beyond all that shit, just as far as the music itself goes, like it's like I said, to me, it's like a jam record. It reminds me of something like the Allman Brothers, where they put together a string of songs and it goes up and down, but it's a live jam album. They're just not jamming on guitars. The vocals are back in it. The vocals are the journey,
Mhm.
and the piano and everything else is just there to assist it. So it's like a vocal fucking jam record. That's how I had to describe it. For a guy who smokes a lot of dope and listens to a lot of jam records.
Yeah.
Whoa, right on, man. Jesus.
Jesus. Film. He's in there.
Did you have any favorite cuts on there?
Oh yeah. Funny enough, I really did like Old Landmark a lot. Mary, Don't You Weep was
Yeah,
the first track was great.
yeah,
Amazing Grace was probably my favorite one.
yeah. They
That was
did.
probably my favorite one. My number one favorite track of the whole album. I mean,
If you I would
everything on there
if
is
you
great.
listening to this didn't do any of this, didn't hear anything, I would at least recommend, because Amazing Grace is a timeless song. I recommend listening to Amazing Grace. It'll be live at New Temple Missionary. Anyway, it'll be the live one from this album. I
Mhm.
recommend at least listening to that for yourself. If that doesn't put a little pep in your step, then whatever, but worth listening to.
Yeah. Um,
Mary, don't you
I
weep.
mean,
Yeah.
it's all good and it's all upbeat and positive stuff. And like I said, it was a really good break for me because I listen to music every day. I listen to a lot of music. It's like the thing that keeps me going at work, in the car, at home, and blah blah blah. And a lot of it's metal. So
Yeah.
like throwing on some Jesus tunes is actually I was like, oh yeah, man, I'm just getting clean
Shake
it
out
up.
the demons.
Yeah, the demon. But yeah, I would say, um, Mary, Don't You Weep, Old Landmark, and Amazing Grace are the top three. Amazing Grace is number one for me though, and they're all good. But yeah,
Right.
Amazing Grace,
I
Amazing
would,
Grace stole my soul.
yeah, I would. Those are honestly, dude. I mean, if I had to pick a couple, those would probably be the same ones. Oh, Mary, don't you weep is great. It opens up. It's that they open with that one, so it's really good. But I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say, because just for me, Old Landmark. Like I can actually hear it in my head right now. Like, oh, like yeah, come on,
Well,
let's go.
that's cool because it has another something else that's significant for you.
Right.
Like it brought
Exactly.
back.
For me, it was
And
an
that,
aha moment where I was like, this is that. The connection was made.
and that's the cool thing about music, man. It's like if it could, if you're listening to something and it could trigger something else,
Yep.
trigger another moment that you had in your life, that means it's good music. And that's
Right.
fucking what
Exactly.
it,
It means if it means something to you, then it's a whole extra level beyond good. You're just like, this is a good song, but then when I listen to it, I get this experience, and no one else gets to really have that. So it
right.
becomes, for you, like I said, for me, Old Landmark. I had no fucking idea what that song was called. I've seen the Blues Brothers for years. Just that's one of Jesse and I's movies. Like, watch it all the time. And to hear that was like, hey, wait a fucking minute. Like, Aretha Franklin did this? Like, I thought, yeah, I didn't know who did this. I love those aha moments.
And she
Um,
was in the movie, wasn't she?
Matter of fact, she was, but she didn't sing that song, interestingly enough. She I don't remember what she sang. Um, I can see her singing it. Preach. She said,
Yeah.
Anyway, it was fucking I can hear she sang a different song in the movie, but yes, she was in the Blues Brothers. But James Brown was the one that was playing the pastor when the chorus was singing this song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. If you haven't seen that scene from the Blues Brothers, you better fucking watch it because it's fantastic.
I will say that I did have to break up the album. I didn't have the time to listen to all of it in one
It's
sitting.
huge. Yeah, it's a lot. It's just like, holy shit, like an hour and 20 or 30 minutes. You're like, oh, it doesn't sound too long. But like, yeah, if it's a movie, but
Yeah.
a record, like that's a long time. I listened to it it took me the whole drive down to Eugene to hear the album. I was like, whoa, fuck me. Like that's a long record.
Yeah.
So
It
yeah,
is.
I'm glad that hopefully you enjoyed the record or you heard something from it. I noticed we don't have a lot of talkative people on our that watch the show, but if you have anything you'd like to chime in about that you liked about it,
No,
please
please
let us
do.
know. If you do bother to write something, we will talk about it and feed on it. So please do.
I give this, I give it a 9 out of 10 for me.
I'll give it I'll give it a 9.5. Just not to give it a perfect. It's hard to give anything a perfect 10, but there's nothing
Yeah,
wrong with
I
it.
mean the reason why I'm not giving it a perfect 10 just because it's really long.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're a vinyl collector, it's a great album to have on vinyl because it's broken up into 4 sides. So in all honesty, it's like, hey, this isn't bad. 22
right.
minutes, however it's broken down. But yeah, it's definitely up there for me.
Mhm.
There's a lot more feeling, there's a ton of feeling to it, a lot of emotion. So you can't really go wrong with shit like that, in my opinion.
Mhm.
And it's
I agree.
Aretha Franklin. So,
Yeah.
and what I like about it is we asked you to listen to an Aretha Franklin record, and honestly, I would imagine that most people had never heard, if anything other than Amazing Grace. I'd imagine you've never heard it unless you just already listened to this kind of stuff. Because Aretha Franklin has a bunch of pop hits, and almost none of them were on this album at all. So this is more like one of those hidden records because she made
Sure.
so many. So this is like I said, a live fucking
Yeah.
gospel record.
I mean, and she was pretty young too for this,
Sure, yeah, yeah. It was in the 70s that this came out, right?
77. Yeah. So I mean,
Right.
she was, I don't know.
72 is what it said. Either way, 70s. So
Oh,
she was in her probably 30s, 40s, um, that kind of thing. But yeah, just great. I'm glad that that's out there. I love that kind of fuck. That was great.
yeah.
We will not get to see that live, so
I'm sorry I'm
that's
yawning so much. I haven't had 7 cups of coffee like I usually have when we usually record. So
oof.
usually,
Well,
I mean, seven's exaggerated. I would say 4.
you know what I say?
It's any better,
Get
right?
them.
Get 'em. Get 'em.
All right. So now are we at the tail end of the show?
Yeah, man.
All right. So we are going to spin the wheel. And we've got we've got one choice.
No, don't give it away, Tony.
There's 3 choices. It's Madonna's Kind of Blue, or Alex's Turn, or my turn.
All right.
All right.
Should I let it rip?
Yes.
Let it rip, huh?
All right. I hope it lands.
Madonna! Did that work out?
That was funny. That was part of that was staged, but the way he did it was not. That was great. That was funny. Oh my god. That was great. So yeah, we had one song left, one album. It's Madonna, Kind of Blue. No, that's not right. That's a different. Is that right?
I don't know. You tell me.
No, Blue. No, Kind of Blue is a jazz record. Wait a second. Shit. No, wow. True Blue. There, for all of the people who were yelling at the fucking at your laptop for the past, or your phone for the last 30 seconds. True Blue. So not kinda, it's true. Madonna's album True Blue, very popular pop record that I really don't know anything about. So that's what we're going to be doing on our next episode, is talking about
Cool.
that. And that is that.
Well, thank you as always for watching and listening. You can make a suggestion on Instagram, titfoo69. You could just leave us a message. The most popular way to make a suggestion is on YouTube, on the most recent episode on our channel. In the comment section, just leave a suggestion of a band or a movie and a full album, and we'll do our thing. And like as always, thanks for watching and listening.
Cool. All right. Thanks for everything you said. Bye.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to stop this. They changed everything. It's probably all just gonna go away. Here, hang on. All right. They tell me how to get